1965, Phil Oakes was singing about doing what you had to do. And tens of thousands of young people felt what they had to do was protest United States involvement in a war they felt was wrong.
The anti-war movement almost had a spiritual, religious quality to it, if you will. There was a sense of, we're doing something morally wrong. This is wrong. We're killing people for no reason. We're using the incredible might of the American military machine to destroy these people. And there was a sense of almost a lament about what are we doing. It was like a pain. It was more motivated from pain and shame, and wanting to, drawing back on Hitler times and the Nazis. We don't want to be connected with something that's so evil. So there's almost a moral, spiritual, religious quality to it. The black student movement was more in your face. We're sick of you, whitey. You're racist dogs. We want our own dorm. It was much more of a energized, angry.
If the anti-war movement was in its innocent youth, the civil rights movement was entering its cynical middle age.
Why do you think that the black people are demonstrating against the war?
Because more black going over there than any other color.
Black civil rights activists were beginning to jealously guard their control of the movement. They resented the fact that their white allies could never really share the reality of black life.
I live here. This is my community.
Of course you live here, but don't you respect the right of black people
Why do you
to
think
organize
I'm
their
here?
own march?
Right.
Don't you?
Why do you think I'm here?
All right, so why can't you march in the Central Northwest? I'm not going to make any short of it.
Behind the group, but I want to go with you.
Lyndon Johnson had involved America in two wars at once, the war in Vietnam and the war on poverty. Civil rights successes in the South and Johnson's Great Society promises had raised the expectations of the poor. But minority residents of Watts, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Chicago's South Side, and 100 other poverty-stricken urban neighborhoods continued to struggle against unfair odds. Inadequate schools, inflated retail prices, and conspiracies by realtors and bankers to keep blacks from moving into white neighborhoods. When the civil rights struggle came north, it left behind the tightly organized grassroots leadership that had defeated the Jim Crow laws. In the north, there were more complicated economic problems to overcome.
Oh, you have to have your children out here starving with nothing to eat, and you can't even get a job. Now, you just tell me, I mean, what's right?
Black people don't know.
Inner city neighborhoods seemed like colonies, patrolled by white policemen who acted more like soldiers of an occupying army than upholders of law and order.
Because we have seen the pigs on the scene. We know what he's like. We know what he's capable of. Just being a damn pig, oinking and beating and walking the streets. I'm sick of these damn pigs walking our streets.
Out in the neighborhoods, the police were getting more resistance. Policing a ghetto neighborhood where people had been subservient, now people were standing up to police officers, asserting their rights, talking back. And for many older police officers, this was a new problem. Why don't they behave the way they always did? You know, police officer says, don't do that. Now they were calling police officer whitey.
We're going to make Vietnam look like a holiday.
Lord, you know these cities are burning. All over the USA. white folks don't settle up pretty soon, we all gonna wake up in Judgment Day.
If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. Should you try to pretend that I'm crazy because I want America to be saved? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
From 1964 through 1967, there were 164 inner-city rebellions, from Minneapolis to Tampa, from Boston to Los Angeles. All told, 83 people were killed, almost all of them black, shot or beaten to death by police trying to maintain law and order. Almost 30,000 were arrested. And millions, black and white, saw the smoke and heard the fire engines from their bedroom windows. Most of America had one concern. When was the government going to put an end to it?
Will the fire department get here shortly? They'll try. Hopefully they'll succeed, because next to this block of buildings is now burning the gasoline station.
It was scary. It was scary to watch on television. It was scary to know it was happening. It was scary to know that people were reverting to random violence on their own neighbor's property just because they were so frustrated and so angry that that was the only way they could get it out. There's no solution for something like that. The political process doesn't address that level of emotionalism and that level of anger. And it seemed like the government didn't know what to do either. And that was really scary.
There was at least one place in American society where blacks and whites were fighting on the same side. The enemy in Vietnam was proving tougher than anyone had predicted, and LBJ thought he had no choice but to send more troops to reinforce those already there.
Try to picture yourself as president. You've given an order. 4,000 or 5,000 men get killed because of the order you've given. Are you going to say to yourself, I'm not talking now about making propaganda, talking to other people. Are you going to say to yourself, my God, 4,000 or 5,000 men are dead because I was a damn fool? I killed those men? No. You know what you're going to say? You're going to say those men died in a noble cause, and we've got to be sure now that the cause for which they sacrificed is not in vain. So you're going to send 10,000. You get some of those killed, and you're going to send 20,000. Get a big bunch of those killed, you're going to send 40,000.
I have today ordered to Vietnam the Air Mobile Division and certain other forces which will raise our fighting strength almost immediately. Additional forces will be needed later, and they will be sent as requested.